It is so hydrating. It leaves my skin so dewy. It is remarkable. If I was only to buy one product from this line, it would be this moisturizer. And I do not say that lightly. Like, I have a lot of product. I've tried a lot of skincare. This is so good. I really, really love it. I am surrounded by influencer products. I've got it on my face, I've got it in my mug, I've got it in my body. It is on the bed everywhere. Today, I am reviewing 5 brands that were started by content creators, influencers, whatever you want to call them. And this came via a request from one of my Patreon members, patreon.com/Molly Burke. If you want to go join the Killer Bee family, there's a whole bunch of perks over there, including weekly private live streams, exclusive video content you don't get anywhere else, behind the scenes life updates, and so much more. And of course, you can leave your content recommendations over on my Patreon, and I might just make it like this video here. So let's get into it, and I am going to start with Chamberlain coffee, or matcha. I got this little itty bitty teeny tiny matcha container for a whopping, I think, $32 if I'm remembering correctly. I purchased this at the Century City Mall here in Los Angeles at the, I believe, the only freestanding cafe storefront that Chamberlain Coffee has. It is like this cute little booth, and I've been there a couple of times, and I knew I wanted to make this video, so I was like, let me purchase one of her matchas because I've been back on my matcha game. I've been a matcha drinker for, I want to say, about 15 years now, so I am not new to the flavor profile of matcha, but what I would say about the Chamberlain matcha is I think this would be very good for beginner. Actually, in fact, my partner was just saying, because he's also drinking a mug of it, that it's really funny how he feels like he used to need like milk and honey and sweeteners in his matcha, but with this, he's just drinking it straight with water, like a classic traditional matcha should be. And I think part of that is obviously like your taste buds adjust the more you drink something, but part of that is because I do think this is a good, very smooth, light in flavor matcha. This is not extremely grassy, it is not extremely bitter, and so I think if you want to get into matcha, this is a good starting point. I know that they also have flavored matchas like vanilla, which is great if you are more of a sweet tooth matcha lover. We do like to mix this with coconut or soy milk to make a matcha latte, and it works really well that way as well, but it is also one that I'm completely happy to drink, like my boyfriend, just with water, which I would say not every matcha I like that way. Like when it gets a little too green for me, I feel like I need to counteract that with a bit of honey or milk, whereas this one, it doesn't give that. Yep, we have some cinnamon and turmeric in here. It's really yummy. What I love about matcha as a coffee alternative in general is that it gives a much more sustained energy versus that spike and fall of traditional coffee. And it doesn't give you like that real like spiky, jittery feeling that coffee can sometimes give. So it's a good alternative for people who find like coffee is just a bit too much, but they need a little something something. And I would also really very much recommend the cafe. They have a lot of really good drinks. The chocolate chip cookie at the Chamberlain Cafe in Century City Mall is elite. That chocolate chip cookie is one of the best chocolate chip cookies I've ever had. I know it's a coffee shop, but truly. It's dark chocolate, it's salty. I love a salty chocolate chip cookie. It's not overly sweet, it's soft. It is delish. So if you're in the area, I would definitely recommend. What I would say, of course, is this is very tiny for the price. That's typical of, you know, ceremonial grade matcha from Japan. The real stuff, the high quality stuff is pricey. So this lasted us, I would say, 10 days.
We didn't have it every single day, so maybe like 7 days for 2 people.
Yeah, 7 days for 2 people. So I would say for $32, you're getting 14 cups of matcha using the correct amount each time. So I will definitely be a repeat customer. I think first I want to play around with a few more matcha brands now that matcha has become my kind of everyday beverage of choice. So I'm going to experiment a bit, but this is one I would definitely not discount. I would come back to it if I don't find one that I prefer, and I would be intrigued to try some more of her actual coffee beans and coffee blends because I do still drink coffee as well. So overall, my review of this / her cafe is very high. I would give it like 8.5, 9 out of 10. Will be a returning customer, have already been a returning customer to the in-person cafe. Next up, we might as well talk about it because I'm wearing it right now. This is from my fellow Canadian girly, Miss Mia Maples. I feel like Mia and I have so much in common through the screen. I feel like we both love like colorful, quirky style. We both are obsessed with being comfortable at all times, and we're both Canadian. There you go. Oh, and we both work with our moms. Love Mia Maples. Love Mama Maples. I have actually collabed with Mia Maples in the past. She is just as genuine in real life as you see behind the screen. Like, she truly is such a great person, and I was very excited when I heard that she was coming out with a sweatpant line, and then she actually reached out and said, do you want to receive a pair? And I said, yes. Do you want to receive a copy of my book? Wait right there. So we did a little tradesy book for sweats. I feel like I'm the real winner here, but gotta give my book a little plug here. Unseen: How I Lost My Vision But Found My Voice is my memoir that came out earlier this year. It would make a fantastic Christmas gift. It is available in hardcover, as an ebook for Kindle readers, or as an audiobook read by yours truly. It has fun tactile braille on the cover. It is, you know, a great book if you are disabled or chronically ill. I've been getting so many reviews from people in the community saying that my story really resonated with them and they felt very validated in my words. But equally, I've been hearing a lot from non-disabled people that this gave them a new perspective or an interesting peek behind the curtain, and also from a lot of other minorities who, although might not be disabled, see themselves in the shared minority struggles. So, little shout out to my book. I hope Mia read it and liked it. Link below. And I will also, of course, have all of these products linked below as well, or at least all of these brands. Anyways, we were both feeling the green, so I was really excited when she launched the 2 different green options, and now I know she has pink. Another thing we have in common, green and pink, 2 of the best colors there is. Anyways, it's called, I'm hoping I don't butcher this is embarrassing because as a Canadian I should know how to say it, Emfraise, which means strawberry in French, which is the second language in Canada, though I was exempt from it to learn Braille, so I suck unless it's guide dog commands. Then I've got you covered, but very cute. Love that idea. I ended up selecting the crew neck sweater, the wide-legged sweats, because those are my preferred. I love a crew neck far more than a hoodie or a zip, and I love a wide leg sweat. And then she also threw in, as a surprise, the ribbed tee and the flared leggings with the crisscross waistband. So we will now cut to me trying all this on. This crew neck has the thumb holes on the sleeves, which to be honest is not generally my thing. I don't love a thumb hole, but I see why she went with it, because for people who love it, they love it. Like, people will not buy a hoodie unless it has these. So I see the appeal, and like for those of us who don't, we just don't put our thumbs through. It is, so I'm very short torsoed. That is the length. I don't know, I can't remember if they call it a crop. I tuck that last band under to make it even a little bit more cropped. I would say on a lot of people who are not 4'11" with a short torso to boot, it would be like just hitting the pant line. For me, it goes beyond, but I would say most people would just meet the pant line. And then these are the wide leg ones. My belly button is right underneath the waistband. The pockets, I remember when she was talking about all the different details, like the little embroidered strawberry. I was so blown away, like all the little things she thought of, the packaging it came in. These pants, I love a wide leg. What's interesting is that they're like a good length on me. Like, I don't need, when I put a sneaker on, I won't need to get these hemmed. So keep that in mind. I know Mia's, I think, around 5'5", and she has long legs. So I'm intrigued that they fit both of us, but maybe it's because I'm wearing them like pretty high-waisted. But for me, if you're also a short girly, these might fit you well, though again, keep in mind, almost all of my height is in my legs. So I do tend to be able to wear the same length of pant as some people who are like 5'3". And then what's cool is this detail where you can pull it in, cinch it. So if you wanted it to be like cinched on the bottom, that's not my vibe. I am one for the wide leg, but I do think that's a cool option. The texture is not like a brushed texture. If you're familiar with like the very classic Aritzia sweats that are more of like a brush texture, it's not that. It's like a flat cotton texture. I know Mia's gone above and beyond to make sure everything is sustainable and ethically made, which of course is going to drive cost up, but if it's worth it to you, I think that the quality is really nice. It's thick, but not too thick. It's definitely really good. We've got the second outfit on. I, for reference, got everything in my usual sizes. Both the sweater and this t-shirt are extra small. The bottoms are both a size small. That's me. That's standard across the board at every single brand pretty much. That is what I order. I would say this top maybe runs a bit small, but that could just be me and my preference. Like, I don't often wear fitted clothes. It just feels like it's pulling a bit, particularly around my arms. It feels like a bit too snug on my upper arms, like up under my armpit. And I feel like ribbing is like over my chest, even though I have such a small chest. I do have like a tiny bralette under this, but it has no padding at all. So I would say like my preference would be to size up in the t-shirt. Everything else I think is true to size. The top hits right at my belly button and I'm very short torsoed. So I would say on most people it's gonna hit maybe a little above the belly button and be a slight crop. It's a very nice quality rib. I tend to like things that are double lined so that I don't have to wear any bra under it at all. So I just think for my preference, it's not really like a shirt that I would typically go for. For what it is, it's really nice quality. And then the waistband is that really cool crisscross vibe, which we all know really snatches you in. I would say it's definitely like more fitted through the hips and the butt than the wide leg, of course, which makes sense. And then I would say they're almost like a wee bit shorter, or maybe the exact length, but it does have like I would say, I don't want to say a subtle flare because it is a pretty decent flare. Yeah, I think I prefer the wide leg style over these, which is surprising because I tend to be a flared leg person. And it's not that I don't love these. I think these are so good. I would say what I'm feeling is it's a bit tighter on the waist than the other one. Like, I think you can even see, like, I'm getting a bit of a muffin top, which is not something I ever typically get in a size small. I've never experienced that. And it's just because the waistband is really tight. The other one doesn't do that to me at all. So I think for comfort, even though they're the exact same size, I think the other ones fit slightly truer to size. I would say both of these pieces maybe run a tiny bit small, which if you're not sensitive to things feeling tight, that's not gonna be a problem for you. But if you're like me and you're really, really honed in on your sensory experience with clothing, I would say like maybe size up, but I am also somebody who would literally prefer something be too big than a tiny bit too small. There is the really nice strawberry detail on the t-shirt, which I think is just like such an adorable touch. Same on the pants. We got the same pocket detailing, that same one back butt pocket. Honestly, super cute. I think they're just different vibes for different people who want different things, but quality overall is the same. Now to go to yet another Canadian girly. This one lives here in LA. We actually run into each other all the time at events, which is so fun. And LaurDIY, the queen, she is just so sweet and genuine. Again, like such a nice person, as is Emma. I have met just those three. The other two I've not met, but Emma is also a delight. Anyways, back to Laur. LaurDIY released Fuzzboy, 10 out of 10 on the name. She, like me, is a massive dog lover. She has the absolute cutest doggos, and I was so excited when I heard she was coming out with a dog brand, a dog line, because that is something that I have honestly toyed with a lot over the years, is starting my own dog line. So I was kind of like, a girl got on it, and you know what? Somebody had to. One of the influencers had to get into the dog brand game, and her first launch was something that honestly I would have never thought of and is utterly brilliant. I think that this is the handbag for the service dog community. Okay, yeah, sure, this is just for all dog moms or dads. I feel like dads could wear this. Maybe not with the bow and the hearts, but I really feel like the service dog girlies need to lock in right now. I wanted to get this video up earlier this month because I know some of you are going to want to put this on your Christmas list, but I was waiting for product from the next two brands to come in, so I couldn't. But oh my God. Okay, again, I will say this was gifted to me, but that is not going to change my opinion at all. I immediately was like in shock. So it is a really nice neoprene light gray color. I personally would have just preferred black because it would go with more, but I do think the neoprene is such high quality. The light gray is a very nice color. The bow detailing is such a cute touch. This pocket is magnetic. I wish it fit a Touchland hand sanitizer. It is just oh so slightly too short. And I'm very sad about that. It was almost perfect, but I do have my little loop earbuds in there. And then this pocket there's like a zip on the top and a zip in the front. In the front, it's like the perfect spot for an air tag. And then embossed here, it says Fuzzboy, the name of the brand. And then on top, I don't have anything in that pocket. It does have this little slot in the back, which I've not used. Really nice quality zipper. It's a metal zipper pull with custom detailing, but then a plastic zip. And then inside, there's lots of different pockets, which I really love. But here is the ingenious part. That is the poop bags built in to your purse. You will never forget your poop bags again. They're right there. You just pull it right out. Oh my God, why am I struggling? There we go. I was pulling at the wrong spot, that's why.
Uh-oh, Elton saw that.
Get your poop bag. And it's like a fun, pretty color. Like, how stinking cute is this? And then you just, oh my God, Elton. His head is on the bed. He's being cutesy patootsy. He knows this is his. And then the roll just goes inside there. It's actually brilliant, but it gets better. The brilliance continues on Laura's part. We should have known our DIY queen would do us right. It has this nice thick strap, and hanging on the strap is this silicone pink flower, and you squeeze it to open the mouth where your treats are. Here, I'll give you a treatsy. So I think this is absolutely brilliant. The two downsides I will say is sometimes if you're not being cautious, this can kind of come open on its own and treats will just fall out, which Elton loves, but I not so much. It is removable from the strap, so you can buy them individually and use it like on your leash or something like that if you prefer. But honestly, I think it's so cool having it on the bag. And then the only other thing that I will say is some of the paint on this loop ring is peeling, which to be honest, like it doesn't bother me, but I just did want to note that. I think this is her first run. And like as a new founder, you're in test mode. Like you're trying to figure out what works, what doesn't, how things wear, what is customer feedback. And I would say my suggestion would be moving forward to just do like the silver hardware on here as well, not to do the painted hardware because it did chip pretty quickly. So that's my one note. Okay, I have got Mikayla Nogueira's Point of View Beauty and I have Cassey Ho's Popflex. I think I want to delve into Popflex, and then we will get into Point of View. Okay, so I raced over when I heard that Popflex released jeans. Popflex is a brand that is known for their kind of athleisure and athletic wear. Cassey's background is like Pilates, and she is a true OG content creator. I think she is such a star in terms of being a founder of a brand. She is so good at getting customer feedback, at really working with her customers, taking you behind the scenes on the journey of a founder. And I feel like Mia Maples actually did a great job with that as well, which I feel like was probably inspired by Cassey because she just really kills it. And I can't stand jeans. I am a sensory girl and I don't like anything that squeezes me. My weight fluctuates a lot. I mean, just around my time of the month, my weight goes up. And I don't want to wear anything that makes me feel uncomfortable, which is why I avoid jeans a lot. But if an athletic brand has released denim, I'm in. They are the flared. I love a flare. I'm also really intrigued to try the wide leg version. What's incredible about this brand is they have different leg length options, including petites for us short girlies. So first impressions, I'm going to try these on now. One thing I will say is that they do definitely have that like denim dye scent. Just a note. Okay, first off, the jeans. Let me say I will be a returning customer. I want to run to the website right now and order multiple different styles in multiple different colors. I struggle so much to find a jean and I want more jeans in my life, but I hate them all. There is one pair I like from Free People that are a pull-on style. They don't have like a zip and button. So I usually only wear them if I'm wearing a belt that hides that or a long sweater. And they're really long, so I have to wear heels. So I don't have anything that I can just wear with sneakers, but because these are the petite length, I can. Ignore my socks, by the way. I'm just trying to hide my toes, okay? We don't need any more feet pics on my wiki feet. The split hem on these flares I think is super cute, especially if you had like a little boot or a little shoe you wanted to show. I'm a flared girl, but they also have like straight leg, the wide leg, I've got my eye on. These are so good. It does have a slight dip in the hem, almost like that crisscross waist from the second pair of sweats from Mia. I don't know, I think it's flattering.
Yeah, it like comes up higher on the side, so it like holds you in, you know?
Yeah, and then the butt is really interesting. It has this kind of like booty contour seam. That's literally what it's for. So the butt contour, I don't know how it looks because I can't see myself. Boyfriend, do you have any opinions on my butt contour?
Yeah, it's excellent contour.
Excellent contour, you heard it here. And I like that the bottom of the pockets don't go below my butt cheek, which is another issue I do have with the Free People ones. It like goes below and then it makes my butt look like flatter. I will say, of course, because these have so much stretch, it will have different things, like you will have to pull them up a bit more. If you're not wearing a belt, it might like scrunch up when you're sitting and you'll have to kind of like pull them down a bit. I'm okay to do that because I would rather that than a stiff cotton that I can't sit in. They do feel thicker like a denim, so not like thin like a jegging. They have still like a denim feel. They don't feel like a legging. So definitely a big fan, and I need to go see if I can get them in black. Now we've got a sports bra. For reference, in terms of the workouts that I do and what I'm looking for in a sports bra, well, I'm not looking for much because I don't have much, okay? But in terms of the workouts I don't do like intense cardio where I would need locked and loaded. I mostly do like an uphill walk on the treadmill, like fast uphill walk, or Pilates, yoga, bar, that kind of workout. So for me, being small chested and needing like for pretty light workouts, the skinny straps work perfectly. I would say that's probably not the case for bigger chested or higher needs, but they have all sorts of different bras. The material in this, as somebody who has shopped everywhere from Aloe to Viore to Lululemon to Crazy Yoga, this is incredible quality. It is very, very soft. It is a brushed material and I simply love it. Let's try it on. And then after that one, I will jump straight to trying on this slightly different style in the white color. Now, the top. By the way, I forgot to mention, the jeans are a small, top extra small. Again, my standard sizes. This is a long line sports bra. The straps are super skinny. It has a scoop neckline and it's kind of like a halter style. It cuts in at the sides, which I typically don't like because I don't like the way my mammary glands, breast tissue, fat, I don't know what it is, the way it like typically smooshes there. But my boyfriend was saying he doesn't think that this one does that. You guys let me know. It's really comfy. Definitely is very light in compression. The back is so pretty though. Like I love that thin line right down the spine. So I will be wearing this in like my yoga, my slow flow yoga classes, that kind of workout. Okay, so now we've got a square neckline, thicker straps. It is not long line. It is much more compressive. This I will wear more so for like my cardio workouts because it's definitely giving a lot more locked and loaded. I think you could wear this definitely with a much bigger cup size than myself. I think the neckline is really flattering. I really like a square neckline. And then the back is like a kind of low scoop back, but still a really thick band around. Then we have this sage green oversized crew neck. It seems cropped-ish, probably not on me. It actually feels very similar to Mia Maples. And I feel like maybe I'm blind. I don't know. Don't quote me. Okay, the pros for this. Love the color. Love the quality. I have in the past tried the Popflex zip-ups that people love, and I did not love it. So take this with a grain of salt. I think some of the details aren't working for me specifically. My boyfriend was just pointing out how like the neckline is a bit odd. Like it's kind of like
big gap there.
Gapping and pinching here. And then I do love the balloon sleeve. I think that's like a really cute detail. I honestly wonder if I'm like almost too small for this. Like it just, I know it's meant to be very boxy and oversized. If I pull the hem down, it kind of like is at the widest part of my body, which I think is very unflattering. Like I do not like things to hit right at my widest part, which is why I tend to lean towards crops and why I tucked that band under. But just so you know, that is where it would hit at least on me. Honestly, on a taller person, it's probably hitting in a much more flattering place. I do appreciate that it has pockets because we know women's clothes hate giving us pockets, though I feel like they're like really like far back.
Yeah, on the side.
They're like on the side. And I guess it's so that it's subtle. So I'm guessing that was the design choice, is that if they put them way back here, you can get the no pocket look, but the functionality. So I do think that's cool, but it's just something to note. It's like a funny positioning to get your hands in. I don't know. Let me know what you guys think of this in terms of how it looks on me. Quality-wise though, again, very nice, really good. Okay, now what many have been waiting for, I am sure. We've got POV or Point of View Beauty by Mikayla Nogueira. I hope I'm pronouncing her last name right. I've never met Mikayla. I know she's a very controversial figure. I will say I've definitely been a fan for a long time. I started following her years ago and I just loved how unapologetically herself she seemed to be. I think she's been, navigating influencer stardom and navigating being a business owner, and both of those things come with challenges. I know even myself navigating when I blew up, like there's just some stuff that happens that you kind of fall into these traps and it can be hard to find your way back to who you really are. I kind of talk about that actually in my book a little bit. I know she's a very controversial figure. I am gonna be as objective as I can about this. I have been very curious to try the skin prep line ever since it came out, but I was just like, look, I got a routine. I don't need more products. But then when I asked on Instagram, shout out, follow me over on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Snapchat, all the places linked below. You'll get exclusive content that you don't see here on YouTube, especially in 2026. Anyways, I asked on my Instagram what brands you guys would be interested in, and this was one that was submitted. Drench It, Drip It, Whip It, Grip It, and Amp It. I appreciate the commitment to the bit. I ordered the whole thing. I ordered it the day that the lip liners and lip glosses launched. So I got caught in the craziness where when I checked out, it said 5 to 10 business days, and I did not get my order for over a month. I did reach out to customer service because I was wanting to make this video. This video was literally meant to be posted in the first week of December. And I had ordered this on November 4th and thought that was gonna be plenty of time to get it, test it, and film it, get it edited, and up on time, given the 5 to 10 business days. But when it took a month, I was obviously getting a little perturbed, like a lot of people were, and reached out to customer service. And what I will say is I do think, while it took a little bit of time, their response was very professional and classy. That essentially said that this is not to the standards that they hold themselves to, that they were comping my entire order, which was $150, and sent me a free gift. This is not like because I am Molly Burke. This is something they did with every single customer, from my understanding, whose orders were significantly delayed due to, I think, similar to what I said with Laur, this is a new brand. They're figuring it out. And I'm somebody who tries to move through the world with as much compassion and empathy and forgiveness as I can. That's just how I choose to live my life. I try not to judge. I really think that likely her and her team were not equipped for how crazy the ordering was gonna be and the volume of orders they were gonna receive. And that is something that they need to get on top of and work out for future. But ultimately, while it took a while, they handled it well. And I did receive this silver clutch, which I think I will wear. I will style this. I have these silver heels and this black polka dot dress.
Yes, you can keep it.
With a red lip. I think that'll be a good fit. And then inside, I got a free Whip It and a free little size. I think it's smaller than the other one. A free mini of the Drip It. So I was very excited to receive that. And I have been testing this out because it's skincare. I want to make sure I've been testing it for about 10 days. And I've been using it every single day. I have, first and foremost, not broken out. I have acne prone skin. I have sensitive skin. I have dehydrated skin. And I did not break out at all. I've only been using this as my morning routine. That is the only products, nothing else. So I rinse my face with water. Then I use the Drench It, I think. I can't read the package. And I basically put it in the palm of my hand and I press it into my skin. Then I leave that for a little second, but while it's still damp, I go in with the Drench It, just one squeeze full, drip it. God, it is a little confusing. With this serum, I really like this. It feels very hydrating. Then I go in with Whip It. To me, she is the star of the show. First off, the lid does have this like situation with a spatula built in. I don't care for that. I've never used it. I'm not that kind of gal because I'm blind. I need to feel what I'm doing, but it's a cool thought for people who would want that. The product inside is such a beautiful texture. It's very whipped. It's very lightweight. All of this, by the way, is fragrance free, and it is so hydrating. It leaves my skin so dewy. It is remarkable. I honestly think, so I was very excited that I got sent a second one of this, because this, if I was only to buy one product from this line, it would be this moisturizer. And I do not say that lightly. Like, I have a lot of product. I've tried a lot of skincare. This is so good. I really love it. This is kind of like K-beauty inspired or infused skincare. And I think the packaging, it's very simple. I think it's cool that it for low vision people, I think would actually be very accessible, because it's a pretty bold font in black on white, which I think is nice. I also like that the Grip It doesn't have like a lid, it just swivels. I don't tend to use primer. I do now. I typically leave Whip It on my skin for 5 to 10 minutes before I go in and begin my makeup routine. And Whip It is extremely moisturizing and creamy on the skin. It leaves this, it does not sink in, it doesn't disappear, it stays on the skin. But then when I layer this over top of it, all of a sudden that moisture is locked in under, but this gives that grip or tack. And it is not like overwhelming or intense grip and tack. It's just enough that my product, my foundation, isn't gonna like crease and move all over my face with the hydration underneath. I notice that my makeup like feels very set. Like it feels much more locked in place when I use this as opposed to when I do not. And I am not a primer girl. So I do really like this, and I'm going to continue to use that. Then we have Amp It. Amp It is their lip ampule. This is scented. This is the one scented product, which I don't care for. It's a mango type scent. I don't particularly love it. I would have preferred like a mint or a vanilla, but that is entirely personal preference. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just I don't like sweet, foody kind of taste and smell for lip products. In terms of the actual application, I found at first it was a bit hard to squeeze it out of this tube, but I feel like once it started, it's been easier. The texture is immaculate, but it is not going to be for everybody. The texture on this is thick. She is very thick. You are locked and loaded with this. This will last, like if you put this on before bed, you will wake up with this still on. That is the type of lip product I like. It is much more of a mask, like a lip mask texture than a lip balm. Very much reminds me of the way back, this is aging me, if you know, you know, the agave lip mask from Bite Beauty. That is what this texture reminds me of. That is all of these influencer products and influencer brands. Honestly, I would be a customer from every single one of these brands. And I'm not trying to be like, just like singing their praises for no reason. I just genuinely think all 5 of these women have done a spectacular job with these product lines. And as somebody who has looked into doing product myself, I know how expensive it is. I know how time consuming it is. I know how many logistics there are. I know how stressful it is. And I commend these women because what they have done truly is not easy. And like, I would recommend any of these brands to my friends to purchase from, to any of you to purchase from. I would purchase any of these as gifts for people. So I feel like I'm usually a pretty ruthless reviewer, but like, I really don't have much bad to say other than like the teeny tiny little things that I've pointed out. And that's just the way I feel. So thank you for watching this video. If you enjoy watching reviews of products, then you can click over here to watch me try 2 different bra-free clothing brands, or you can click over here to watch a completely different video that has nothing to do with stuff like this. Okay, bye.